Welcome to this inaugural edition of From the Vault, a slight little offshoot of the podcast Cellar Door Skeptics, hosted by Christopher Tanner and Chris Hanna. This is the offshoots, kind of the behind-the-scenes look at what Christopher Tanner thinks is some of the intrigue into my mind and how I see different avenues that I don't always share on the show. So this is your exclusive look at the mind of Chris. So I wanted to have this inaugural conversation about something that's popular right now, right? Not because I want to have a conversation about what's popular, but because it's something that shows up on my news feed, I don't know, every 3 seconds it seems like. Kim Davis. She's a county clerk, somebody that's denied same-sex marriage license to couples that now legally can get married throughout the United States. And it's something that has been appealed to all the way up to the Supreme Court. Well, they overturned her, and they said, hey, you know what? You have to issue licenses to same-sex couples. And she says, I refuse. And you know why she refuses? She says she refuses because she feels this is an invasion of her religious rights. She thinks, hey, I'm a Christian, I don't believe in same-sex marriage, so therefore I should be able to deny them same-sex marriage licenses because it conflicts with my beliefs. Well, as of this morning, on Thursday, she was brought in front of a judge, and the judge brought her up in contempt. He gave her a bunch of different options, and in the end said, hey, basically, if you don't resign or allow somebody else to do your job, I'm going to put you in jail for contempt of court. Now, that's not a very popular position, you know, I mean, it's something that the secular community can rally behind. We can go, hey, this is great, right? We're going to get rid of religious, rights, and we're going to move forward and say, hey, we want equality inside of the courtroom. But to me, this seems almost like it's this horrible stalemate, right? We don't want her to be able to continue to deny same-sex licenses. That's horrible. That's something that violates human rights. It causes harm to lots of people. But on the opposite side, we don't want to fill our jail cells with people that haven't committed violent crimes or tried to scam the people out of something. I get, yes, she's a public servant. She should be issuing these licenses. She's not, and she's creating harm by doing so. But on the same side, I don't want to fill the jail cells with people. I don't want to put people in jail. I don't think that's a productive means. So over the last couple of days, I've had conversations with lots of people, and I'll admit, originally I started with saying, hey, she should not be in jail. Jail is not meant for people like her. Let's just remove her from office. But at the same time, then I did not know the laws. I didn't know what they said. And then I found out that basically she can't be removed. We can't just take her and say, hey, you're fired. We can't be Donald Trump here, But we have to go through an election process. We have to go and try and impeach her or wait till she's out of office and we re-elect somebody better. And I don't think that's fair for LGBT people. I don't think that's something that we should compromise. We should go, well, her religious freedom and her ability to want to do this is something that we should just go, yeah, let's accept this and we'll impeach her or re-elect her. The only option that has been presented is jail time or fines. And yes, she could have been given fines. She could have been given lots of fines. But with the day and age of GoFundMes and all these other things, do you honestly think that money's going to come out of her pocket? Do you not think that the Christian right-wing people are going to stand up and go, she's right. We're going to sponsor her. We're going to support her. We're going to give her our money so that way she doesn't have to pay anything. It's like a church with donations. I mean, they're like, hey, we need something. We're doing it for God. Hand it over to us. That's what it's like. So she's just going to get donations. So that's really not a punishment. It's not going to deter her from doing it in 2 weeks and 3 weeks. It's not going to deter her in any way, shape, or form. So to me, the only option is we remove her from office. And given the laws and the way that everything is set up, the only way to remove her from office is through impeachment, or we can jail her, and at some point there has to be an appointed representative to fill her place. So if we can't just impeach her, because if we impeach her, that grants months, maybe even a year worth of time that we have to wait to try and get her out of office, and there's how many different couples that are not going to be able to get married because of this, and that's not fair to them. And so why should we have to disadvantage even 2 couples or 1 couple over her rights? We shouldn't have to do that. So the only other option is to jail her. And I don't believe we should put any more people in jails. I don't want to put any more people in prisons. I don't want to do this. But I don't know any other way around the law. I don't understand why we would build a law that would allow for this, so that if this situation came up, we had no other choice but to jail her. But that's the way the law is. It is where it is now. We can fight the law. If we want to change the law, we can work for trying to change this in the future. But at this current state, we have to accept what is. It is. And if we don't abide by the law, we're going to create so many other circumstances where same-sex couples will be discriminated against that it's not even funny. It doesn't even become a joke. We can't use this as a punchline, you know? And so my biggest qualm with her is that she has the right to resign. She could just resign. She could end this right now if she wanted to, but instead she wants to make this a Christian martyr. She wants to become this big figure, whether she's popular or unpopular. She feels that this is her duty to God, to Jesus, to her Christian faith, to fight this. And for me, it comes down to the simple basic fact of there's more people than her that are in the government. Whether she agrees with the laws or not, it doesn't matter. The laws are set and they must be followed. And if she wants to fight the laws, there's ways to fight the laws. But unfortunately, she's not on the minority end. It's not like she's the one sitting here going, hey, you know what? I'm part of the minority. I'm being discriminated against all the time. That's not logical. 70% of the United States is Christian. Think about that for a second. You can sit here and claim persecution complex, which is basically what this lady's claiming. But we have to look at 70% of America is Christian. So whether they agree with this or not, that's not what we're discussing right at this specific time. It's the fact that there's 70% of them that believe in the Christian God. And to try and say that we're going to overtake those 30 would just be a way to oppose the minorities. Let's try and minimize what they believe. And we don't want that. We can't sit by and idly go, yep, that's okay. Let's let the minorities, just fail because the majority doesn't agree with them. Come on. That's ridiculous. And the best part is that not all 70% of those Christians actually are against same-sex marriage. There's a lot of them that support it. But the problem is the law is the law. Same-sex marriage is legal. She's violating the law. And kind of the key to this episode is the fact that this lady, Kim Davis, she has the ability to release herself. She has the keys to the castle, the keys to the dungeon. She is the lady in control of her own future, and yet she continues to sit here and want to protest this as a martyr because it's a violation of her religious freedom. So I want to tell her one thing. Your religious freedom's not being violated. You don't have the religious freedom to impose your beliefs on other people. You don't, Kim. That's not how it works. Think about this. In the 60s, there was many county clerks, I'm sure, that had no interest in fucking signing documents that allowed interracial couples to get married. But yet it happened. It's there. Interracial couples exist. It was ruled that people could get married of other races. Now, this should be a no-brainer. And I mean, I sit here and I just laugh at the thought that this would even be a possibility, but it is. It's a reality. It was a reality people went through because of the fact that people try to use their belief system to discriminate against interracial couples. Now, you tell me how that's equality. You tell me how can you sit here and think, hey, a black person can't get married to a white person, an Asian person can't get married to a Mexican, a white person can't marry anybody. It's just like the reverberation of white privilege all over again. And it's a tired trope. Stop toting it out. Your religion can't cover every belief. Have your own beliefs. Keep them to yourself or share them, but get them the fuck out of the government. That's all I'm saying. And to those that are going to sit here and say, why are we imprisoning Kim Davis because she did a nonviolent crime? She's just standing up for her religious beliefs. We shouldn't, put people who have strong religious beliefs in jail. I'm here to tell you, hey, grow up. Get the fuck out of America then. It doesn't consist of your religious beliefs exempt you from doing anything. You can't use your religious beliefs as an excuse anymore. That is no longer acceptable. Stop and think how others feel. If you don't want same-sex marriage, go to the polls and vote. Get rid of the politicians in office and move people over so they can reappoint Supreme Justices. If you don't like how the Supreme Justice system works, then get rid of it. Go after a way to try and figure out how to correct the system if you don't agree with it. But don't sit here and tell me you're going to protest in your own courtroom or in your own county building because you have a religious conviction? I mean, come on, think about that. You're telling everybody else that your beliefs are more important than their rights. And whether you agree with same-sex marriage or not does not matter. They have rights to their beliefs. You have rights to your beliefs. Therefore, we need to find a neutral ground that we can all accept. And the neutral ground doesn't mean you get to discriminate them and they don't get to discriminate against you. If you want to negotiate a way to get out of your assignment or get out of your elected position, fine. Let's go to the table and negotiate. But to refuse to issue licenses is just you saying, hey, my beliefs are more important than your beliefs. But I don't have to justify them because that's the way the government has worked. And I sit here and I think how many people are not able to do it. How many clerks in the past were LGBT people, right? Or people of color who sat there and had to issue marriage licenses for something they didn't believe. You know, back in the 40s and 50s, there could have easily been a county clerk or somebody in office that had to issue marriage licenses that didn't agree with blacks not having equal rights with white people. There could have easily been that. There could have easily been LGBT clerks that didn't agree with giving marriage licenses only to straight people. Come on, think about that. There's other people out there that have other thoughts and other beliefs. So we can't just expect that this is offensive to the majority. Come on, think about it. All these people continued every day to do their job, to bring you marriage licenses, to allow you to get married in their county, whether they agreed with your decision or not. Those people gave up a lot. And while this lady, Kim Davis, shouldn't just have to give up her whole livelihood, she should be able to figure out how to compromise or how to move into another position that allows her to continue her religious beliefs without infringing on the benefits of others. Christians do not get a free pass. Christians do not get a card that says, hey, my beliefs out-trump your civil liberties. Getting married to who you love that's of age and of consent and of species does not mean that just because you disagree with something else, you get to violate that person's civil rights. Civil rights extend to sexuality and gender of any type, whether you like it or not. So at some point, we just need to get the fuck on board. At some point, you need to get off your high horse and learn and look at other people and decide that, hey, what is more important? Love. Love is more important. Thank you guys so much tonight for listening to me talk about Kim Davis. This is just a taste of what you're going to get on Cellar Door Skeptics, the new podcast coming at the end of September. Thank you guys so much for joining me. It's been a pleasure to have this conversation. You were listening to From the Vault, Volume 1, Kim Davis edition, called She Holds the Keys. Thank you guys, and remember, let's prepare for the revolution. Good night, everybody.
This has been a presentation of Cellar Door Skeptics. Check us out on Spreaker, Cellar Door Skeptics.